Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online Series 7 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. As we round out Series 7, a couple more interesting teams that I want to feature on the channel, and today we are using a team with Slurpuff and Tapu Lele. Now, I used Slurpuff a couple of months ago, really in the beginning of VGC 2020, but it is a really intriguing Pokemon, and now it can be paired with Tapu Lele, which obviously was introduced recently. And so, the idea behind this combination is obviously Tapu Lele sets up the Psychic terrain using its ability Psychic Surge, and then Slurpuff eats the Psychic Seed that it's attached to, or is attached to it, and that activates its Unburden ability, turning it into one of the fastest Pokemon in the format. So, Slurpuff, as you can see, has some really cool utility moves. It has Fake Tears to lower your opponent's special defense, as well as String Shot. String Shot's actually probably one of the best speed control moves that you never see, just because not a lot of good Pokemon actually get it, but Slurpuff does get access to it, and it is able to decrease both of your opponent's speed immediately. So that combos really nicely with Tapu Lele. The cool thing about Slurpuff Lele is that you're actually not going to Dynamax either of those Pokemon, and so the goal is to try to just pick up a KO on turn 1 with Tapu Lele ideally, or kind of chip away at your opponent if you think something is Dynamaxing. What that does is essentially set up whatever your Dynamax Pokemon is going to be, either the Life Orb Zapdos or the Weakness Policy Metagross in the back. And so, Slurpuff Lele is going to be a very common lead for us with this team. Super, super fun. You also have, as I mentioned, Life Orb Zapdos, which is really standard here. Weakness Policy Metagross, but it's got some pretty cool moves, as you see Steel Roller and Zen Headbutt. A lot of Metagrosses now do up for Ice Punch nowadays, obviously to try to hit those Landoruses, but because this Tapu Lele is going to set up the Psychic terrain, Metagross can take advantage of that, get some really, really powerful Psychic type attacks off. And fun fact, actually, the last time I won at Regionals was back in 2017. I used Tapu Lele and Metagross. Things are a little bit different now, but Lele plus Drifloon was one of my favorite combinations from back in VGC 17. And so Slurpuff, similar with the Unburden and the Seed here. And then to round out the team, you've got Classic Incineroar, and then a Eviolite Trace Porygon 2 with Foul Play and Eerie Impulse. This is a little bit different from the Porygon 2s you might be used to seeing. No Tri-Attack, no Ice Beam. Your only offensive attack is Foul Play, but Foul Play is obviously really strong, especially against physical attackers, Pokemon like Metagross, for example, or opposing Glastriers. I think that's a really big one. And Eerie Impulse is a really cool move. I've seen that pop up more recently on a lot of different Pokemon, but, it's great because it can just shut down a special attacker, and if you Eerie Impulse something that's Dynamaxing turn 1, it will often just carry you, because your opponent will basically playing with a much weaker Dynamax, right? The other cool thing is because you're not using Tri-Attack or Ice Beam, you don't have to rely on Porygon special attack or attack. In fact, as a result, you can run Trace. Trace can be really helpful in copying, opposing Intimidates, for example. It's not going to come in that frequently, but when it does, it can really absolutely just catch your opponent off guard and really just give you huge dividends. So excited to jump into this episode and try out this team. If you're interested, Rento's is in the description below. The original team creator's Twitter is also in the description below, and I've posted a team report that they made for this team written in Japanese. All of that good stuff is down in the description below. So thanks as always for watching. If you enjoy, please show your support by leaving a like, and let's get started. Question of the day, completely unrelated to Pokemon, but I was looking at Slurpuff and I was like, it kind of reminds me of a cupcake, so I want to know what your favorite dessert is in the comment section below. For me, I think ice cream is definitely a go-to, but I have a sweet tooth. I think growing up I always really liked sweets, so anything sweet, I'm a fan of. Ice cream cake was actually probably my favorite thing, especially as a kid, birthday parties. I like cake, I like ice cream, so ice cream cake would be it. But, cupcakes are nice, donuts are nice, and so, yeah, let me know your answers in the comment section below. And let's get started. So, first game of the day, hoping to bring the Slurpuff Lele combination, pretty high-ranked opponent. They do have a lot of terrain control, which is a little bit less than ideal, but that's still okay, I think. Part of the reason why the original creator actually wanted to use this combination is because of the influx of Grimmsnarl. The cool thing about Lele is, of course, you can set up the Psychic terrain, block those Grimmsnarl attacks. Being said, it's going to be a little bit harder for us here, mainly because my opponent has Rillaboom and that Tapu Fini. So let's see. I think I'm honestly still down to go with Slurpuff Lele here. I think Zapdos has to be our Maximon here. Zapdos is actually really, really good into my opponent's team, so I like it a lot. And for the last one, it's between Incineroar and the Porygon. Honestly, I think Incineroar is not a bad pick here because my opponent is Cinderace and Landorus. I think those are the two most likely Pokemon to Dynamax. Yeah, so let's go with these. I think with Slurpuff and Tapu Lele, if your opponent does not have any, if they don't have any terrain Pokemon, then like you're really in the clear. And it's mainly going to be Fini and Rillaboom, right? Those are the two most common ones. It just so happens my opponent has both. But sometimes you'll run into a team that doesn't run either. Then Slurpuff and Lele really can dominate because you don't like you can just go for these like psychics, right? But this is still fine. They go Grimmsnarl, Landorus, and I'm actually totally okay with that. I think. The only question is, do I want to? I have so many options here. Like, I could fake Tears. Their Landorus is faster than Lele, so I have to keep that in mind. Because Landorus, of course, could just Dynamax and Max Quake into the Tapu Lele here. So, what I could do is go for example, a String Shot. And then the String Shot allows me to go for a Psychic or a Moonblast. I think if you're my opponent, Light Screen here would definitely make a lot of sense. They can't Fake Out. I suspect we'll see Light Screen here. Fake Tears is really neat here. Okay, if I String Shot, then what I want to go for is Fake Tears and Max Airstream into Landorus next turn. Right? So just String Shot and Psychic into Landorus this turn. I think that's acceptable. Oh, I guess though if Landorus Dynamaxes... Oh, Grimmsnarl switches out. Okay, maybe into Fini or Rillaboom? Oh, into Celesteela. Okay. Nice. That actually works out really well for us, especially if Landorus maxes. And they commit to Dynamax. Oh, that's so good. Because now, this paves the way for Zapdos completely. They didn't get screens up. They're not Dynamaxing Celesteela. I'm going to get a chunk of damage onto Landorus, and they actually didn't even change the terrain either. So I'm assuming it's going to be Max Quake into Lele. Assault Vest is like a reasonable assumption for their Landorus to have here too. But regardless, I think this is a pretty good turn one for us. Because I get a chunk of damage off, and I've lowered my opponent's speed on both Pokemon. So this is the value of Slurpuff, right? The kind of utility that it can offer. So let's see how much Psychic does here. It's really good damage, actually. I'm pretty sure Fake Tears Airstream should KO. Now, they will get a Max Quake off, so that will increase their special defense, and I think they should one-shot us. Yep. I thought about switching Tapu Lele out there into Zapdos, but I was like, man, if I just get a chunk of damage out into Landorus immediately, I feel like that's super good for us, right? So I'm pretty content about this position, honestly. I think that's totally a trade that's worth it, because with this team, you're often going to be Dynamaxing after your opponent, and that will work in your favor a lot of the times. So, I get to bring Zapdos out here. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just going to go Fake Tears into Landorus, Dynamax this thing, and Max Airstream. Given that I have Incineroar and Zapdos as this endgame, I think that puts us in a really good spot. Unless the Landorus survives the Max Airstream. And if it's I think it's AV. I'm not 100% sure, though. Actually, it probably isn't, right? Because, like... that Psychic would have nearly just one-shot Landorus. I feel like if you're AV, you would have like taken it a little bit better. So let's see. Nice, Celesteela protects. Yeah, in this position, I don't really feel threatened by Celesteela, unless I guess it's Power Meteor Beam. Then it would do a fair amount of damage into Zapdos, but... you know, my opponent's Dynamax is already chunked down for over 50, or almost 50%. If I can just get the one-hit KO here, I honestly think it's game over. Nice. Yeah, so you can see how well Slurpuff enables its partners in this game. So we're in just such a good spot now because I can just max Lightning into Celesteela this upcoming turn. I'm actually surprised that like Fini or Rillaboom haven't come out yet. If my opponent has either in the back though, actually at this point it's so hard for them to do much because Zapdos just completely dominates their team. I think so. They bring Grimmsnarl out, but that's okay. Grimmsnarl. I mean, maybe it's a fake out. Honestly, I like switching. Oh wait, you can't even fake out here. Terrain is still up, right? Yeah, I still have Psychic Terrain up, which makes it even tougher for them. Okay, then with that, I think I'm just Fake Tears into Celesteela and Max Lightning it. We already knocked out the... yeah, we already knocked out the Landorus, so I don't have to worry about a Landorus switch. And maybe Celesteela switches out here. They're going to go for Trick, but that's okay. So it is Trick Full Instance, I'm assuming. Yep. But the reason why I'm not that worried about that is because I still KO your Celesteela this turn, right? And I still have one more turn of Dynamax next turn, so don't really think it's that much of a problem, especially because the Full Instance doesn't apply immediately, right? So we get the KO into Celesteela, perfect. And Slurpuff has just been incredible for support so far, so I'm really happy about that. So no more Psychic Terrain, but at this point it doesn't really matter that much. My opponent can have Fini, Rillaboom, or Cinderace in the back. I think Cinderace gives them a fighting chance here. Even with Cinderace, though, I can just switch Slurpuff out into Incineroar, get that Intimidate off. But it's going to be Tapu Fini, which I'm totally happy to see here. So, with Tapu Fini out, let's see. Still possible for my opponent to win, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves. But I think here I'm just going to Fake Tears into the Grimmsnarl, because we know it can't protect. Ooh, Fake Tears and Max Flares actually kind of cool here. Because it sets up the Sun. Nah, I'll just go for the KO with Airstream here. I mean, okay, the reason I don't want to target Fini here is in case Fini protects and I have like a guaranteed KO onto Grimmsnarl here. But maybe Fini Calm Minds. That would make this pretty interesting. But they protect. Okay, perfect. That was actually a little bit scary. Because if Fini actually goes for the Calm Mind here, that's like a super, super good play, right? I was thinking even if you Calm Mind though, like you can't... I don't think you knock out Zapdos even with the special attack boost. And I could just Fake Tears Thunderbolt next turn. So, okay, they're going to Spirit Break. It does get that special attack drop, but I think we should KO the Grimmsnarl. It's at -1 special defense. Or, I mean, I'm at -1, but they're at -2. Beautiful. Like, Slurpuff has enabled us to pick up a one-hit KO on every turn for the last 3 turns, right? And now I think I can just go Fake Tears Thunderbolt onto Tapu Fini. So, the main thing here is that my opponent went for a lot of Protects. Totally understandable, right? I think a lot of those Protects are reasonable, right? Zapdos was... That is a really strong Pokemon. You can imagine me targeting into, you know, all of those, but... I don't think Fini should KO us here. We should survive. We don't have any special defense drops, so I think I can just go for Fake Tears here into Tapu Fini and Thunderbolt. That should be a KO. Maybe they Calm Mind, but that's really not that much of a problem. Slurpuff was just so good here as the support. Without Slurpuff, we wouldn't have picked up most of those one-hit KOs, right? So I think they need a crit here. Yep, we survive. Cool. And we get the Thunderbolt off. That should be game. Even if Fini hangs on here, which it does, Slurpuff can just Dazzling Gleam away at this point. Okay, for a second I was like, is that Weakness Policy? But no, it's just Leftovers. Which is, of course, like the more standard item. But now we can just Dazzling Gleam to finish things off. So, I think that's one thing I really like about this team, right? The fact that you will often lose Tapu Lele on turn 1 or turn 2. But that's okay. Because... the thing is that Lele is often either picking up a knockout against a regular non-Dynamax Pokemon, or you're doing so much damage to a Dynamax Pokemon like we did in this game, in which then, whatever you Dynamax in the back will often be able to just pick up the knockout. And the String Shot is so nice, because with String Shot, your Dynamax Zapdos or your Dynamax Metagross is going to outspeed most of your opponent's like main threats. So you obviously have to watch out a little bit, like Slurpuff, Tapu Lele isn't going to work against every team, right? There are a fair amount of teams or Pokemon that don't care about stat drops. Something like Metagross, a Dragapult, for example, but they're not... Well, Metagross is pretty common. I mean, both of those are definitely meta, but if you see those in Team Preboot, you can just play a little bit differently, right? And that's where Porygon 2 is actually really handy. In fact, like, Foul Play Porygon is super nice, especially against Dragapult, for example, because it can barely do very much into Porygon. At best, you're going to go for a Max Warm Wind. But Porygon can just Trick Room, you can stall out Trick Room, or stall out their Dynamax and then just go for Foul Plays. Obviously, Tapu Lele does a lot of damage too, but you have to be a little bit careful because you can just get hit by a Phantasm. But yeah, I think what was good for us in that game was my opponent didn't really change the terrains at any point either, so I think that definitely worked in our favor. Okay, next game here, Spectrier, Rillaboom, Whimsicott, Dracovish, Thundurus, and Indeedee. Male. It's really hyper offensive. So I feel like if I can get Trick Room up here, that'd be pretty nice. Now, of course, I can consider the Slurpuff Tapu Lele combination as well. It's actually not too bad here, especially with String Shot. But I'm definitely concerned about like Dynamax Landorus-T. Sorry, not Thundurus-T, Thundurus-I. No Urshifu on that team comp, which is interesting. Normally you see Urshifus. Because, like, how do you actually stop Trick Room from going up? It might be Imprison Indeedee, actually. If you wanted to stop Trick Room, you could go Imprison Indeedee, but, like, what else would you go with? Also, like, Metagross here is somewhat compelling. I don't know how I easily get Trick Room up here, because from my opponent's perspective, they have to absolutely deny Trick Room, right? If you let Trick Room go up, you will just lose the game. So I think it probably involves the Indeedee male with Trick Room or Imprison. Okay, I'm down to try out Slurpuff Lele here. Maybe I can have Porygon in the back. Metagross is, like, kind of interesting here. Zapdos or Metagross? Okay, I feel like the safer bet is probably Zapdos here, but I don't know. I want to try out the Metagross. Yeah, I mean, the problem, like, if Trick Room goes up, Metagross is so good into that entire team, right? Especially because, like, there's no terrain control. So, well, I guess there's Tapu Koko, which can max Lightning, but Metagross under Psychic Terrain seems really sick. Just Spectrier Whimsicott. Wow, so if I just went Incineroar or Porygon, it would have just been... Oh, I bet... I'm willing to bet the Spectrier has, Taunt. So this is actually really interesting now, because what I can do is turn 1, switch out Tapu Lele. The other question is, do you just Phantasm into Lele? Because I have Yawn. So if you Dynamax Spectrier in this position, and I Yawn into Spectrier as you Phantasm into Lele, we are set. Like, we're actually just in such good shape. But I don't know if Spectrier Dynamax is here, because I could just see Whimsicott Tailwind Spectrier Snarl. Because my question here is, my opponent really needed to deny Trick Room, right? And so if you... How does this lead deny Trick Room? Should I lead Fake Out plus Trick Room? Well, there's not really much of an answer there. Spectrier can't deal with Porygon unless you have Taunt. We actually get Prankster. Yep, so Spectrier doesn't Dynamax there. Maybe it's just a regular Shadow Ball then. Okay, it was Taunt in the end. So, yep, that solves the answer. Wait, I've actually never seen Prankster Trick Room. Oh, no, I have. What am I saying? Whimsicott. Yeah, I can't get Trick Room off here. I could just Dazzling Gleam and Foul Play here. I think you're still forced to taunt in my opponent's position, so I'll go offensive. Yeah, that's a foolproof lead. It's probably double taunt here, and that's the advantage of Taunt Spectrier, because you can't hit it with the Fake Out. So I could have stayed in with Tapu Lele and actually just clicked an attack turn 1. I probably should have, because as soon as I see Whimsicott Spectrier, I should know Spectrier is Taunt, like it's going to be supportive. Oh, or actually, it could be Life Orb offensive still with Taunt, like the set here Fumi had. Yep. So Taunt comes out here. That's okay, because if we can eliminate Spectrier, that's actually like the main threat to Tapu Lele out of the way, and that's actually not too bad for us. Okay, so it's a double up on Porygon. It's okay. It will be kind of funny. I mean, if Dynamax once that Taunt wears off, I could recover. Like, priority recover. So we have 2 turns of Taunt left. Or 1 turn on this thing. 2 turns on this thing. Tailwind's gone up. But it's expiring soon. Spectrier is just such a big threat, though. I kind of need to knock that out, right? So I'm down to just Foul Play Dazzle here. Tracing Prankster with Porygon actually is so interesting. How else could I have approached this matchup? Zapdos over Spectrier, perhaps? But it's just going to be Shadow Ball. That's okay. Like, the special defense is really nice for us here. Okay, they don't get a drop, which is good. Moonblast comes out. Slurpuff should survive this. Good job, Slurpuff. That's less than ideal. I'm hoping we still pick up the knockout onto Spectrier. If not, this actually can get a little bit ugly. I don't know if this KOs. Let's see. Okay, it's enough. Nice. So, neither of us have Dynamax yet. Taunt wears off on Slurpuff now. But its Tailwind is still up for 1 more turn. Plus Whimsicott can... Oh, no, Whimsicott can't Taunt. Oh, that's actually a really big deal, isn't it? I suppose you could just Moonblast here. Does that KO me? I'm not sure. Because I can Yawn right now into Dracovish. Vicious Rend probably just KOs me, but I don't really have a switch into Vicious Rend either. Oh, it's not really ideal. Does Yawn even make sense? I think String Shot makes more sense, right? Because it allows me to outspeed with Lele. Okay, I'm down to String Shot and Foul Play here. I might just get double KO though with Moonblast Vicious Rend. Okay, so they're not Scarfish, which means I think they're banded. Ah, that does KO Slurpuff. Okay. There should just be a Vicious Rend. I didn't have a switch into this though, but I think Dracovish just sweeps me now. Yeah, that's a one-hit KO. If I had Incineroar, then I could have switched into Incineroar and then Foul Play, but I don't know how much that really helps me either. The problem here is that I just faint for the Lele now, right? Like, you just Tailwind Vicious Rend. I needed to knock out Whimsicott before another Tailwind went up. So, Taunt Spectrier was huge here. I should have read into Taunt and just attacked with Lele turn 1. So, well played. Really well played. Actually, I mean, it's not over yet. It's definitely not over yet. I don't know if my opponent knows this team. I mean, this team isn't super common, so I wouldn't expect them to, but... If I can Dynamax the right thing, does it matter? I mean, Banded Fish's Ren probably just one-shots Max Lele anyway. I think my best bet here is to hope that my opponent targets the Dracovish. Sorry, targets the... What am I trying to say here? Yeah, targets the Metagross. Or, actually, I mean, if my opponent's last one, say, is that Thundurus, like, Metagross could still theoretically pull this off. Actually, the problem, though, is terrain, right? Yeah. Because, like, I don't have terrain anymore. Maybe I could have gone for the defense boost. I mean, if they actually target Metagross here, we can win. If I protect on Lele, I'd actually probably just protect Lele and Max Psychic into Dracovish, but I don't. Yeah, they get another Tailwind up. That's the main problem. I think it's Banded Fish here. Yep, and it's going into Lele. So I had no way around that unless I had Protect, but Lele's often aren't going to be Scarfed or Specs, so that was a relatively safe play for my opponent to make. So it really comes down to what their last one is. I think based off how this is played out, I definitely expect it to be Thundurus. That would just make the most sense by far. So you can imagine if I just attacked with Tapu Lele turn 1 and I get a KO and you end up taunting the Lele, I actually have a really clear path, I think, to winning the game. Yeah, it is Thundurus. Okay. Well, it's not over yet, I would say. Maybe, like, Metagross can do pretty well into Thundurus. I don't think I really... Do I need to respect the Whimsicott? If it has Helping Hand, that's my main fear here. Because I could Steel Spike to get a defense boost, Mind Storm, Protect. Zen Headbutt. I think I actually like that. I really wish we had Max Hailstorm here. If we did, I actually think we'd be in... Well, it probably doesn't make that much of a difference. I don't know. If Whimsicott has Helping Hand here, that's a problem. They could also actually go for a Trick now should they have it. Unfortunately, Policy isn't going to be relevant in this game, but... Yeah, this was a fun one regardless. I think, unfortunately, Lele Slurpuff does fall short a little bit against Tailwind because that's how you can outspeed Slurpuff, right? It does have Helping Hand, too. Okay. Well, I don't regret going for Steel Spike here. Let's see how much this does. Not that much, actually. Not that much. Yeah, maybe this is doable then. Because I'm thinking basically what we do here... Yeah, it's Life Orb. We have a defense boost now, right? So Metagross is really tanky. You don't have Helping Hand support either. So the problem is if I went for Max Psychic onto the Thundurus last turn, I don't KO it, and then my opponent can just Helping Hand Max Lightning again, right? So I'd rather get the defense boost here and get rid of the Helping Hand support. Like, those two add up actually really, really nicely. So I think now I'm just going to go for Mind Storm. It's going to be a close finish. It's definitely going to be close, but we might actually be able to pull this one off. I'm really glad I brought Metagross here in the end, though, because I think if it were Zapdos, it would have just been game over already. Metagross had more utility because it's bulky. So, I don't know. I mean, I could have gambled on turn 1 and just stayed. Like, but if I just stay in with Lele and my opponent goes Tailwind Shadow Ball... Oh, that's so aggressive, though, right? Like, are you ever going to go Tailwind Shadow Ball there? I don't know. Either way, this was a really fun game. And I think they played really well as well, especially with the... Yeah. Taunt Spectrier is a really good tech, right? Because it shuts down Porygon pretty well. But us having Foul Play was actually pretty valuable here as well. I do wonder if the Moonblast, like, whether that was a guaranteed knockout onto Slurpuff. Okay, they actually commit the Max Guard themselves here. Oh, you know why that's actually really smart? Because now, of course, I can Max Guard here. But they should Max Knuckle. Yeah, I think they just Max Knuckle and then Wild Charge. Okay, I don't think the play is to Zen Headbutt and Zen Headbutt again, because Knuckle into a regular Wild Charge with Life Orb should be enough to pick up a KO. So I'm just going to Protect here. Yeah, nice Max Guard. Yeah, that was a really safe play on their end, too. There's no reason to not go for that. And then the hope is basically survive Wild Charge and Zen Headbutt. Actually, I don't think Zen Headbutt will KO, though. Yeah, so they go for Knuckle. 109 to 100, so that would have done 27 more. We would have been at 73 HP. Honestly, oh man, we actually might have survived a Wild Charge because it's neutral. Or I mean, yeah, I'm at +1 defense, they're at +1 attack, so it may have been better to just have attack there. We do have Steel Roller, but yeah, I think we just Zen Headbutt here. Yeah, I don't think Zen Headbutts do. I was hoping with the Life Orb chip it'd be enough, but I don't think it is. I think it does like probably like 60%. Oh, but they take recoil from Wild Charge. I forgot about that. Okay, we survive. So they're gonna take recoil and Life Orb. I think we're gonna just fall short. Okay, we hit the Zen Headbutt. Oh, you've got to be kidding me, man. No way, it has literally 1 HP. Oh. That feels bad. Well, that's as close as it gets, right? Let's see. I may have honestly, yes, I think I may have survived. It may have been better to just have Zen Headbutt twice rather than go for that initial Protect. Oh. Well, that was a really good game regardless, so. I mean, it literally came down to like 1 HP in the end. I think we both played decently well in this game. You can see one of the downsides of Slurpuff Tapu Lele, which is going to be the, yeah, it is going to be Tailwind. So what would have been bad? See, that's the thing, right? Because I don't have a safe way to guarantee Trick Room, because even if I lead Incineroar or Porygon, what I could do it with an instant Porygon lead, actually, though, I guess, is just straight up attack the, straight up attack there. Yeah, oh, it would have been so close. I like, really wasn't confident in surviving a Max Knuckle without Protect, and then the Wild Charge, too. And with the recoil, yeah, I was thinking it would have been enough. I mean, I don't know what the role is there, but I feel like we played to our outs there. Like, Knuckling at least was, or sorry, Steel Spike into Whimsicott was the right decision. We needed to KO Dracovish, too, because, yeah, there's, like, in that position, if I don't KO Dracovish, Fishious Rend just demolishes the Metagross, so. That was one in which I think we were at a slight disadvantage because our opponent led better than us. I don't really know what the best lead to counteract that is, though. Spectrier is so good against us, especially because it has Taunt. Because, I mean, if it has Will-O-Wisp, I don't know. Like, that's the thing about Spectrier, that's why it's so strong. You can run Shadow Ball, but you can run Taunt, you can run Will-O-Wisp, like a lot of support utility as well. But that was a really fun game, so I can't complain. Alright, Umbreon here, that's kind of neat. Now, they do have a Rillaboom. So that's like slightly scary. Zapdos is looking pretty good. Metagross is really good. Well, not. I mean, the lack of Ice Punch does limit us a little bit here, right? Incin feels quite solid for us. We get Intimidate off. Has Snarl as well. I don't know, though. I like Incin in the back, I think. Also, like, Porygon solely for foul play damage here is pretty interesting, because my opponent does not have fighting-type damage, right? But the problem is, if I also want to bring Incineroar, and if I want to bring Slurpuff Lele, like, Slurpuff Lele, Porygon, Incineroar feels really uncomfortable to me, because I'm not bringing a Dynamax Pokemon into that, which doesn't feel ideal. Definitely doesn't feel ideal. I think I like Zapdos here. I think I like Slurpuff, Lele, Zapdos, and Incineroar. That seems pretty consistent to me here. Oh, I'm still thinking about that. I want to know how much HP it was. It literally looked like 1 HP there. Yeah. I guess the other thing to consider... No, if I had Zen Headbutted initially, then the second Zen Headbutt would definitely KO. Never mind. I was thinking, oh yeah, then you take less recoil damage, but that recoil isn't as much as a Zen Headbutt would have been. And it's going to be Sylveon plus Umbreon. Okay, that's pretty neat. Not what I would have expected to see here, but also I'm okay with that. My only question is how bulky the Umbreon is, because if you're not that bulky... Okay, also, do they have a Fairy switch-in? No. Wait, they don't have any Fairy switch-ins. Okay, that's actually really good for us, right? Because I can Fake Tears. Just Dazzling Gleam. Yeah, that feels pretty good here. Umbreon's... They like, you normally run Snarl, Foul Play, Yawn, and then you can run Protect/Detect. But I don't think Sylveon should one-shot either of our Pokemon here, so even if Umbreon protects, like, I still get a Specs Dazzle into the Sylveon, right? And Umbreon maybe thinks, oh, I can take an attack here, like... Okay, and they don't protect. Nice. Great, great, great. Alright, so Slurpuff gets that Fake Tears to start off the game. That's already a great start. The fact that, like, Rillaboom didn't come out here also feels pretty good, I would say. Beautiful. One hit KO onto the Umbreon immediately, 40% onto the Sylveon. That is perfect for us. And they just go for Hyper Voice, but that's fine. Cool. Now, the thing is, I think, like, to beat this, you'll probably want to bring Rillaboom out, but if I can bait the Rillaboom out, that's totally fine, right? Because I have Zapdos in the back. That's not Rillaboom, that's Alecki? Interesting. So here's the thing, if you're max speed Alecki, you will outspeed us, but if you're not max speed, I can just String Shot and Dazzle. I'm down to String Shot regardless because it sets up my Zapdos in the back, and then it allows my Zapdos to outspeed. Unfortunately, they are going to be faster. Okay. Yeah. So they are max speed Alecki, but that's okay. Well, actually, I guess if we get one shot here, it's maybe not ideal. I could have switched out into Incineroar there. Maybe I got a little greedy here. Because I think Hyper Voice might KO us. Oh, we hang on. Nice. Huge. That's fantastic. Because I can bring out Zapdos now. Yeah. So that's the one downside of Slurpuff. Like, Alecki is so fast. Like, yeah, you just outspeed. They could have Quick Attack here, I suppose. That actually would be a problem. I like Dazzling Gleam and Dynamax. I have Incineroar in the back. I will outspeed the Regieleki now, right? Wait, actually, does Zapdos outspeed even if it's at -2? It definitely should. Yeah, 286. We're good. So your max speed Alecki, I wouldn't be surprised if it respects. I'm worried about Quick Attack on the Sylveon here, though. I'm down to Flare. They don't have a Fire-type switch in. Dazzling, Max, and Flare. Okay, they don't switch out. Quick Attack here could be a problem. I'm also nervous about Focus Sash. They could Electro Web, I suppose, as well. The other cool thing about Flare, though, is it sets up the Sun, right? And that means my Incineroar will have the Sun to Flare Blitz, and that's actually really nice. So, let's see if they protect. Ideally, if Sylveon protects and we knock out the Alecki, that's definitely just game over, but I don't think it's going to protect here. Okay, they don't go for a Quick Attack, though, so that's good. Yeah, because this means I get the KO onto Alecki, and that's the main thing I was looking for here. I will say, yeah, Regieleki can be a little bit annoying to play against with this team because of the fact it can actually outspeed max speed or Slurpuff with Unburden. So that feels a little bad, but it's okay. Because if we outsped the Alecki there, we would have just KO'd it, right? And we get that Dazzling to do more damage to Sylveon as well. But I still feel pretty good about this endgame position because I have an Incineroar. That pressures Fake Out onto Sylveon and gets an Intimidate off. Okay, my opponent's last one is going to be that Spectrier. Spectrier. I don't think a Max Phantasm should one-shot us, right? I don't think so. Maybe they Max Quake here then instead. I could see them Max Quaking actually, yeah. Phantasm definitely doesn't KO us, actually. So I'm going to Snarl here and Airstream into Sylveon, because that gives the Zapdos a speed boost, which is really critical here. I also don't think Max Quake one-shots Incin, but if it does, that's actually a really big problem. So, yeah. Be cautious if you're using this team. Like, Max Speed Alecki is basically the one Pokemon in the format. We'll outspeed that Slurpuff. Alright, so let's see. I mean, Spectrier often does have Max Quake. Sylveon protecting here is definitely a possibility. It does go for Protect. Okay. Yep, so it was Max Quake. That was what I was expecting. How much do you do? I came really close to one-shotting, but it's not enough for a one-hit KO. However, I fear that I don't have enough firepower against the Spectrier at this point in the game. Because they can just Max Quake again next turn. Now, Zapdos will outspeed this next turn. I don't know if that's enough. Maybe Flare Blitz in the Spectrier there. No, if I Flare Blitz, I probably just faint, to be honest. Okay. Protect on Sylveon was maybe too obvious there, so I could have gone Max Lightning into the Spectrier for some damage, but I wanted the speed boost because I want to outspeed that thing. Okay. We do have one more turn of Dynamax, though, actually. So maybe it's fine. Wait, does my Instant outspeed? That would be really cool, actually. 89? So I hit one. Nah, even after a second Airstream, I wouldn't outspeed, unfortunately. It's not looking great. Mainly because of the special defense boosts. I think I'm just going to Flare Blitz here. Max Airstream is stronger. Then I Protect and I just T-Bolt. They go for a double Protect. Yeah, that's the right play, because if you get it, you actually probably just win off that. Unless your Spectrier is like Omega slow for some reason here, but it should outspeed Instant even. If Instant actually outsped here, I was thinking like, I Flare Blitz, I Faint from Recoil, and then your Max Quake is completely wasted, then I Protect, and then just T-Bolt to win the game. But I shouldn't outspeed here. Yeah. Okay. The other problem is that they get a boost from this, right? So now they're at +2 special defense, +1 special attack. So I can Protect this next turn. Or they're at neutral special attack. I can Protect, but I'm pretty sure a Shadow Ball will KO Zapdos at this point. I guess I should have switched Tapu Lele out. If I switched Lele out into Incineroar, I think we would have gotten more mileage off. Yeah, I just lost too much that turn, I guess. Yeah, so we Protect. We could also crit T-Bolt or paralyze them. Or maybe somehow Life Orb Shadow Ball actually doesn't pick up the knockout onto Zapdos, but yeah, I'm pretty sure we've taken too much damage. Wonder if Flare Blitz was the play then. No, because yeah, I'm pretty sure I Faint from Recoil. Parting Shot could have been... No, but I get more damage from Protect. Oh, that's definitely enough, yeah. So I think we need a para or a crit here to win the game. That's the upside of having Max Quake on your Spectrier. Funnily enough, if I had Porygon in this endgame, I think we would have won, right? Because I could just Eerie Impulse. So I guess Porygon over Instant was the call, but hard not to bring Instant into a matchup with the Rillaboom and Landorus. My opponent just made the nice call of not bringing either here. Good Hurricane Confuse, actually. That may be a better bet. I mean, chance of Para critting either would win us the game. It's just the accuracy that's so bad here, but... Alright, let's go for it. Okay, hits! I mean, we need a lot to go right. We needed to hit that. Oh, that was actually really good damage. And we get the Confusion? Does it hit itself in Confusion? Oh my goodness. Please. Oh! That's why you play to your outs. That's why you don't give up. That's like a perfect example of like, yeah, we should lose this game most of the time, but you go for the plays if you can find them. Is T-Bolt... Because T-Bolt was 100% accurate there, so is the chance of... I think the chance of Para might have just been higher. Is T-Bolt 10% or 20%? I actually don't remember. Oh my goodness, though. I mean, the odds of that working were obviously so slim, right? But, that's why you don't give up. Like, if you can find those plays... You go for them. And they're not going to work out most of the time, but it gives you a chance of winning. Obviously, we got lucky to win that, though. Feels bad, because I feel like... Yeah, I mean, I guess bringing... No, I still think Instant's the right Pokemon to bring, given that it covers Landorus and Rillaboom so well. I think my main misplay was not switching out Lele there. I also honestly didn't think Lele would get one-shot. But yeah, I mean, it was relatively low health, right? T-Bolt's 10% to Para. So if we have a 10% chance to Para, and then we need the full Para as well, right? So that's the other part of the equation. Yeah, full Para is 25%, right? So that's a 2.5% chance. Plus you have the crit chance, but the crit chance applies to both. And then Hurricane, is it 30%? Thunderbolt might have still been the right play there. It is 30% chance. But the sun was up, so I had a 50% chance to connect on that. 30% chance to confuse. So what? That's a 15%? And then they needed to hit themselves in confusion as well. And confusion is what? 1 in 3 now? If I remember correctly. It's 1 in 3, right? Hold on. Confusion. It's just been... I'm like... Yeah, it is 1 in 3. So the odds are better from Hurricane, right? Just because the confusion... Like, obviously you have to deal with the accuracy, but, like... With Thunderbolt, yeah. The chance to paralyze is just marginally smaller. I mean, it's significantly smaller, actually 10% relative to 30. So, wow. I mean, that was crazy. Crit would have done it as well, but... Should I have Flare Blitzed? If I Feign from Recoil, the answer is no. So that's why I like Snarling there better. But, yeah, I mean, that was... We definitely had some good RNG in the last string of games as well. Okay, actually, while we're here, I can also calc the Thundurus damage calcs. So Metagross into Thundurus, Zen Headbutt. How much bulk do we have on the Metagross? I'm double checking. Either way, I mean, that was a really fun game. And I think it's very easy to just want to give up often. But even if you have any chance to win, as long as it's above 0%, you have to go for it. And that one was tricky because, yeah, on the top of my head, I wasn't sure if it was better to Thunderbolt. Because Hurricane's accuracy is so bad, but it worked out. Yeah, we are admin. Zen Headbutt, and they had taken Life Orb Chip, Wild Charge Chip, 2 Life Orb Chips. 20. Yeah, I mean, it is, based off this, I think it's just a damage roll. One that is... I have no idea, actually. I have no idea how much damage they took from the Wild Charge. But Max Attack Zen Headbutt into No Bulk Thundurus does 66 to 79%. So, if you're not factoring Wild Charge recoil, then we don't KO, right? But we are factoring Wild Charge recoil into the equation. I just don't know how much it did there to itself. Because my opponent hit 3 times, right? So they basically had 20% from the Life Orb. So they were at 80%. It does feel more in our favor, if anything. How much recoil do you take from Wild Charge again? So I'm just calculating all of this because I just like... It's always good to know what your odds of winning the game were, right? That last example, it's 1/4. Oh, so I can actually calculate exactly how much HP we lost, right? Because we were at like 60-ish HP. So they did like what? 50, let's say 56. So that would have been 14 HP. 14 HP. And they're taking what? 15 from Life Orb recoil. 15, 30, 30, 44, 147. It is just a damage roll in the end. I don't know exactly. 140. Okay, if we were saying 147. It feels pretty 50-50 to me, but I'm just doing that off the top of my head, so I'm not exactly sure. So I guess I'll take that. The second game felt like it was in our grasp when we lost it. But then, yeah. I think the main thing is, I mean, this game, it felt like I had a really good lead too, but yeah, Aleki, I got a little bit too careless because I was like, oh, we're in such a good spot, like such a good spot now. My opponent's not even going to Dynamax. I think the correct play there would have been to switch out Tapu Lele into Incineroar and then go for the String Shot. While that doesn't feel super good because I take a lot of damage with both of those Pokemon, the reality is that I bring my opponent's Aleki speed down significantly. And then I can, well, I guess I can't fake out the subsequent turn, but I can Flare Blitz into Sylveon. Like, I can String Shot again, Flare Blitz into Sylveon. So, yeah. Then, I don't know, though. Conserving Lele doesn't actually do that much because they have Spectrier in the back. So, yeah. I gotta think about it a little bit more. I think Tapu Lele plus the Slurpuff is very, very aggressive. So, I don't think I played it perfectly here, but I can't believe that actually worked. The Hurricane hitting and then the confusion. Between that and getting that late game crit a few episodes back, like, yeah, we definitely had a good string of RNG, so we'll take it. I won't complain. But this was a really fun team, so I'm looking forward to playing a couple more games with it tomorrow. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Thank you so much as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to answer the question of the day. Let me know what your favorite dessert is, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.